Thank you, assignment desk. You made my Friday. Woo! Whoa, splitting it. We're online. Hey, everybody, if you guys are just joining us, thank you, first of all. Not a pursuit, oddly enough. Well, actually, it's not so odd. Take a look at this. Motorcyclist, the only one apparently was speed. Started up in, I'm venturing to say, Altadena area. If you guys are local, you know where that is. Right now, you can clearly see it. We put up the little bit of a map, and we made our way onto the 101 freeway. We just picked it up over in the Echo Park area, slowing down a little bit there. Looks like we're going to be getting off the freeway again. Don't know if that's hair. I don't know. I don't know if that's hair. I don't know if that's hair, or maybe he's got a scarf. No, it's not a scarf. Man, ascot. He's wearing an ascot. You know, I don't want to poke too much fun at this because this motorcycle is moving at very, very high speeds. We've seen these come to unfortunate ends very quickly. I venture to say that's the wrong side of the road. I don't care what country you're in. He was going against traffic, making a big old U-turn there. I guess we were off at Vermont and getting back onto the Hollywood freeway. It is busy out here. This is, you know, I'm usually the traffic guy, and I can tell you this is a spot where it's always slow, always heavy as I drive it myself. You saw that helicopter flying through the shot. That's going to be the sheriff's ship. The sheriff's ship is over it, even though we're in LAPD area, and this is a this started out as a CHP following possible pursuit. Sounded like they had a motorcycle, a California highway, like a chippy, like the old school chippy behind them for a little bit. It was hard to hear that person's mic. I got to be very honest, but they backed off. They kind of gave it away. We've been listening to it, and it really is. It's one of those things. It really is just a want for speed, and is it worth it? You know, these are the calls that law enforcement have to make out there. This is one of the ones also where I'd love to look at what you guys are asking, talking about, chatting about on the YouTubes and also on the Fox app. But I really can't let my eyes off this because this really is work. That motorcycle moving very, very quickly, and it is hard to keep up and keep that shot framed and keep an eye on where this guy is going. Or gal, you know, I'm just going by all that hair back there. I'm venturing to say that that is a male driver for no reason at all. Anyways, you can see that bike clearly a little bit tricked out. Either that or this person really knows his motorcycles. Whoa, oh, boop, I saw a little hard front end braking there, dipping down. Yeah, you can hear in my voice. I am not happy about this, watching this. There was a lot of crazy moves there. That rider might be very experienced, but again, kind of pushing it to the limit, pushing the bike to the limit, and then also he's got a lot going on. And you just don't want, one little mistake and it's going to be a problem. Back onto the freeway, basically did a little get around the traffic. Tried that a couple times in my car. Couldn't do it as well as he can right there on that bike. Continuing back out there, making his way. Again, you see it. Just the weaving in and out, the hard braking, that front dip, that kind of scared me. Anyhow, the original one is going to be speed. What's going on right now? Evading law enforcement. It's a motorcycle. What are they going to do? You're going to get a cruiser behind it? How are you going to make that happen? Come on, guys. So the helicopter staying with it. I just heard some conversation. Maybe Dylan still has me potted up. I do talk a lot, if you guys haven't noticed that. My pilot has a lot going on other than listening to me yammer. But I'm wondering if the sheriff's ship has departed or stopped following it. Yeah, he's still there, apparently. But they're just keeping an eye on it. Again, it's one of those ones. It's like, whose call is this? Right now, we're in LAPD's territory. It was in CHP's for a while. Who's gonna take it? And again, I'm looking at it, and the numbers, 70-something miles an hour. Can you get a ticket for that? Sure, you can. But usually, when you're going 70, you're not weaving through a bunch of cars going 30. yeah, now he's picking it back up to 100 miles an hour. That bike is, I'm just going to say nifty. I almost want to say it's a Honda. I'm sure a lot of people are going to correct me on that and school me. But all it is, I can tell you right now, it is moving along very, very quickly. This rider, clearly experienced rider, but again, just one little mistake out here. This is not a racetrack. You just don't want to see anything. I don't want to see anything happen to him. Live where? Oh, live now. We're okay. We're on our Fox Fox channel. If you guys are just joining us, this is not a pursuit. I got to say it, not a pursuit. This is a motorcyclist, and they kind of just let it go, but the rider's still driving very erratically, very high speeds. Now we're starting to get into the downtown area. Dylan, my pilot today at SkyFOX, on the tiller, and this is one of those ones that's very difficult to keep an eye on it. Dylan, if you can, just stay over him, directly over him, if you can. And if we lose him, we're going to lose him. Again, there's a sheriff's ship nearby. And they ventured to just kind of let it go. The original want just speed. But this vehicle continuing to drive very, very fast, making a lot of quick turns. I don't know where you joined us, but at one point we were on the freeway, and he was weaving through traffic. Traffic going about, it's LA traffic, about 30 miles an hour. He was pushing 70 and getting up into the 90s at a couple of moments. There you go. Take a look at that. Now he's back up into the hundreds, and, he's coming up on the 4 level. I know this area pretty well, and we're going to have a tough time right here. Shucks. Okay, there he is. Looks like he's going back onto the 101. No, he's 101, but we're not going into Hollywood. We're going to stay right here. He should pop out. There he is. And it looks like we're going to be taking the 101 through the downtown Los Angeles area on the north side. This thing moving along very, very quickly. I'm halfway, it's one of those ones. I can't really say. Am I happy that he's back on the freeway? Because we can keep a better eye on him. But again, he's touching those triple digits on that motorcycle. It seems like this rider pretty experienced. But again, if you haven't heard me before, this is not a racetrack. And one little accident, one little mistake, one little misjudgment, and this could just become very tragic. And we've seen motorcyclists cause injury and death to drivers inside of cars as well. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. I definitely don't want to see it, and I don't want to put it on television like that. But again, you can see it right now. This vehicle is still continuing to evade speeds. I don't have to call them out. You can read them. Looks like we're going to be transitioning again. And it looks like we're going to be heading into the Boyle Heights area. If you guys are local, you know it. Because I know News Now, you guys are national. Again, this is going to be one of those, could be very, very busy spots. A lot of traffic in this area. Usually I'm going to go a little wider. Promise I won't lose it. And it seems pretty open right there. My pilot, Dylan, actually listening, and I appreciate it, helping us out there. A lot of off-ramps and a lot of options out here. It looks like we're going to be taking First Street. And this might be one of the ones, again, we've seen these riders in the past. They'll find a parking garage. They'll find an area underneath some trees. They're not unknowledgeable the fact that they're being followed by a helicopter, not just SkyFOX, but by the sheriff's ship. So possibly this rider is going to try to hide and walk away from the bike. I don't think he's going to let that bike go. It does look like a very nice motorcycle. Making our way across the First Street Bridge. Not as famous as the 6th Street Bridge, but still an iconic bridge out here in the Los Angeles area. Going to be making his way into the Arts District area. We're going to keep an eye on it, but again, just right now, this rider really, truly just running from his own demons. No cars behind him. The helicopter keeping an eye on it, calling out locations. But again, nobody's really taking okay, we're going to get in a position. We're going to throw out some spike strips. They're just keeping an eye on him. Coming up to Alameda, that's going to be the next major. And, he's in the middle lanes, and this is going to be one of those ones, too, where you could go north or south, but there's a lot of parking garages out here. There's a lot of shopping areas out here. There's a lot of places. There's a sheriff's helicopter where he could just drop the bike. You can see those numbers all over it. I believe that's some sort of a Honda, probably a CBR, but I'm sure somebody out there is probably challenging me on that and may be more correct. I've been wrong in the past, I'll be wrong in the future, and I might be wrong right now, but I can tell you very dangerous pursuit as this motorcycle continues to make these high-speed moves out here on these surface streets near some freeways. I understand California Highway Patrol might, and I don't know how they're going to do it, get back into pursuit of this vehicle. We're just going to keep following and keep an eye on it. My biggest fear is going to be somebody not even not paying attention, just driving and not expecting a motorcycle to be going close to 100 miles an hour, and this is going to end in a tragic way. Right now, though, this bike kind of slowing down a little bit. Maybe this person, the adrenaline might be wearing off. Maybe he's starting to do the, where can I leave this bike? How can I get out of this? We've seen these things where they've made phone calls. And yes, I know there's technology that they might be able to make phone calls. But it looks like he's slowing down. Let's see where he goes right there. Oh, yeah, I did see those brakes. So now he's underneath San Mateo Bridge. Keeping an eye out. Let me see. Let me go a little bit wider because he might be. Oh, there he is. There he is. There he is. There he is. He's back out. Back out again. And continuing on. But you know, we've seen in the past where they've made phone calls, they've had friends come pick them up, lots of things like that. You know, with the bike, might be able to do the same thing. Might be able to find a spot, take off the jacket, take off the helmet, have one of his friends pick him up and drive away. Later on, try to get the bike. But this is one of those ones, again, this is downtown Los Angeles, and the pursuit continues. But really, is it a pursuit or a following? That's really up to you guys. Ooh, that's a busy intersection. Where did he go? 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 Where did he go to make a U-turn? Up there he is. On the wrong side of the road. Why? Why? There's no reason for that. We're going to do a little pirouette with the camera. Hope everybody is taking their Dramamine out there. Here we go. And continuing on. I got to reset up the camera before I really push in. And yep, that little dot, that's who we're following, that motorcycle right there. And continuing, you know, looks like this rider does know the city pretty well. Looks like we're getting back onto the freeway. This is one of the ones, again, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? We've seen him on the freeway making those really high-speed maneuvers around vehicles. Nobody wants to see that. You know, it's one of those ones. Every time he gets really close or splits the lanes, you get panicky. You don't know. That driver might be like, oh, let me change lanes, and he doesn't know there's a motorcycle coming up on him at 80, maybe 100 miles an hour. And those split-second moves, that's where it all could go wrong. There you go. The bike's really starting to open up again. You can read it right there. We're going to get back onto the southbound 5 freeway. This started up in the Altadena area. Again, I know this is news now, so a lot of folks, this is a national thing. Altadena, pretty far from here, and he is going the opposite direction of Altadena. He's kind of going away from that area. That doesn't mean that maybe he was up there running errands, who knows, and he lives out to the south. I'm wondering if they do have information on the license plate of that vehicle, because if they do have that, they might have a registered owner. It was just speed. This isn't a stolen bike. So they could just say, hey, well, we know where this person lives. We'll just show up at his door. We'll door knock him in a week or so and say, hey, what were you doing out there? We want to talk to you. Or possibly they weren't able to, because a lot of these sport bikes, they like to, you know, play that game where they have the license plates hidden. They are mounted, they are legally there, but are they easily visible? Probably not. They're usually mounted behind that tire, and you can't really see them. So we just don't know. I don't have that information right now. These speeds seem reasonable if there was no traffic. There's a lot of traffic down there. You're watching it, and every time he gets by those cars and kind of shares the lane, it really, truly, my stammering isn't for effect. My stammering is literally because I do worry that this could come to an end very, very quickly. I always wonder to myself, you know, those motorcyclists, they love to share lanes with cars, but they seem to frown on it when you pull up next to them in a lane. I don't understand. I mean, you're all about sharing lanes. Why don't you want to share a lane with me? Anyways, that's just a little commentary right there. But the vehicle chase continues out here. This motorcycle making pretty good time. We're going to be on the southbound 5 freeway. A lot of traffic out here. That's nothing new for anybody that lives here. That motorcycle easily getting through all of this. How are they going to stop this with California Highway Patrol? Well, they got the helicopter. They got the sheriff's ship above it. No, see, they traded off. California Highway Patrol helicopter is here, so the sheriff's ship off doing sheriff business, and now the California Highway Patrol taking it in there. They are on the freeways, and this did start as that California Highway Patrol pursuit. Also makes me wonder, now this is one of those things too, and it's not a commentary, it's just curiosity. Why are they staying on it? Why do they want it? Do they know something about this vehicle? Was this vehicle involved in something else? Did they run the plate? And that person might be wanted for something else. So, and my pilot's just saying that sometimes they do a little bit of a, hey, you know, this and this and this and this, but they really didn't do that on the handoff. But then again, the ship was handing to the California Highway Patrol that might have all their information already been given to them or on their MDT. So right now, just keeping an eye on this bike, moving very, very quickly, going through almost stop traffic out here. And where they're going to go, that's anybody's guess. We're probably going to stay with it as long as we can. Really? Look at that. See, some of these people down there, some of those drivers, you know, you can see it. They saw something in their rearview mirror. They did move out of the way, letting that bike pass. It is a courtesy. I do it. I really do. Every time I hear a motorcycle coming, I check my mirrors, and, you know, if we're in stop traffic, I'll give them a little room. Look at that Tesla. Almost went into the wall trying to get away from it. Again, though, this bike, you can see those speeds, and it's one of those ones. Yes, he is speeding, but look how quick he's going by all these other cars. That right there is the issue. And these speeds, you know, they continue to climb. Yeah, those bikes can go pretty much, as I understand it, a full tank of gas, you know, even they get about what a car would get, even at those high speeds like that. So this could go on for quite some time. The helicopter, you know, that CHP helicopter, I would venture to say they probably left or got out here with a full tank of gas. So they'll probably be here longer than we can even stay, because we were up before this. But that rider continues to make these high-speed maneuvers and continues on the freeway. How do they stop this? That is the big question, and a lot of these motorcycle riders, they kind of know that as well. It's one of those, they like to play those cat and mouse games, and sometimes, you know, the mouse does get eaten. You know, the cat seems to win more than once. You can see that the maneuvers seem to be a little less. Earlier on, I don't know if we were with you guys already, when we were on the 101, there was some hard braking, front braking that really kind of worried me. That didn't seem like a very professional move, but right now, this all seems to be, like, this person is comfortable at these speeds. My camera actually had a little issue earlier on, so I have to do a little resetting here, so bear with me with the clickety, with the ratcheting as we get a little closer. Just want to see the bike a little better and what's going on there. We won't stay this tight for the entire ride, but you can, riding with one arm. So definitely starting to see a little fatigue in that rider, doing a lot of crazy moves. There's no doubt about it. So maybe this is one of the reasons why we're only going 80 miles an hour right now, trying to get a little bit of rest. Maybe this rider is going to find a spot, pull over, try to hide the bike. Who knows? But the California Highway Patrol, they're not going to just let this go. Their helicopter now here following it along with us. And again, this all happening in the Southgate area. We're going to be on the southbound 7:10. So if we keep riding this, this will ride us all the way to the end. We'll be in Long Beach, right by the water. Is that where we're going? Who knows? Yes, I got you. Is that Sarah? Copy. And if you guys are local, you can put on 11. Copy all. We'll be here. Hopefully we'll still have it. If you guys are local, turn on 11. We're going to be going live on channel 11 out here. That's our Fox station. If you're not local, you can keep watching wherever you're at. And if you guys are on the internet, I wish I could interact with you because I'm really curious what you guys are asking about, what you guys want to know about what's going on out here. I'm trying to cover all the questions. Well, Sandra, you know, we're getting into Compton. You know how I love the Compton, and it's a motorcycle rider. Now, this started is speed. We've been following this for more than a few moments, and this rider going 100 miles an hour, cutting through traffic, mostly on the freeways. When the bike does get off the freeway, like we're doing right now, we've seen a lot of driving on the wrong side of the road, cutting off other vehicles, disregard for any kind of lights, traffic lights or anything like that. Very high speeds on both the surface streets and the freeways. Is there anybody behind it? Surface streets and the freeways. Is there anybody behind it? Is this a pursuit? Well, that's the tough one. There is nobody behind him because how are you going to stay behind a bike that makes these kind of moves and drives this fast? That's one of the big problems. There you go. There's one of those U-turns right there. Maybe not that dangerous, but again, it is just not safe. And the sheriff's helicopter was here for the longest amount of time. The California Highway Patrol helicopter has just joined this, and this originally was a California Highway. They decided, well, we're going to back off and we're going to keep those. What are you doing? What are you doing? What, Sandra? What are they?
Wow.
And this is the thing too. We see all that hair going on down there, and I don't want to go in assuming guy or gal, but I just kind of venture to say maybe it's a guy. It could be a female rider, but you can see the rider starting to get a little fatigued, riding with one arm, with one hand right there. Don't know what that other action was. Now we're coming up on another motorcycle. He's handing off something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? I would venture to say, you know what? I'm going to take a stab at this, and somebody's going to say you're wrong. I venture to say that was some kind of GoPro. I bet you the motorcyclist just handed off the GoPro for some reason. What that was all about, don't know. And we were talking about this earlier because we were on the internet. It is a motorcyclist, but they have the technology now. They can make phone calls with their helmets. Everything is, spoken. They don't need to pull out their phone or anything like that. So maybe this person was making phone calls, trying to get somebody to meet them. Maybe that was a rider that that he knew was going to be there and handed off whatever they just handed off. Again, though, this right now doesn't look that dangerous. But then when you look at those speeds and you realize you're going 90 miles an hour cutting through traffic. Sandra, I'm just so worried that somebody's going to make a turn and this is going to end in a bad way.
That's right. Not only for the motorcyclists, of course, Stu, but all the drivers down there as well, not expecting somebody to be a bullet coming past them at 100 miles per hour on the highway on a motorcycle. Well, it looks like they're trying to engage that car right there, maybe. Talking to them. Yeah. But you also wonder if there's a GoPro involved, if they're making calls, connecting with another motorcycle, if this is a joyride or some kind of stunt.
Well, all those things are very possible. These are the things we watch these pursuits and we just don't know. I was taking a stab at it. It's been a while since I've been doing anything with motorcycles. I think that's a CBR. I think that's a Honda. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure somebody out there is going to know better than me. But it definitely has racing tags on it. Those are numbers that don't know. I mean, this could be somebody who's a professional rider on the weekends or does racing, and maybe that's one of the reasons why it didn't stop, because maybe the motorcycle isn't registered and they just don't want to have it impounded. What they're doing right there, very clever. We can't see them right now, but how long are you going to pull that off? And is this what is this? Is this like going to be one of those Fast and Furious? Is there like a door going to open up and the bike's going to go into one of the cargo containers? I don't think so. I'm very curious what was going on there when we didn't see that motorcycle for a few moments. But this rider clearly seems to be pretty comfortable in a very tense situation, which just adds to all those questions. Who is this person?
Right.
Why are we still pursuing it? Because a lot of times we'll hear policy and law enforcement will just let a bike go because of the dangers and the high speeds.
That's right. And you said this was in Compton. Are we still in that area now? I see, yes, Compton. And
yes,
clearly very comfortable, knowing their way, navigating through the highway there and definitely through the streets, almost kind of showboating at this point, just weaving in and out of the lanes. And so far, again, the initial pursuit was a response to the speed.
Right. That in a lot of times, I'm not encouraging, I'm not giving away any secrets. A lot of times law enforcement, especially with a motorcycle, they will, if it just speed, they will just kind of let it go, or they will try to get a license plate and then they'll door knock those people later on or make a note somewhere, and if the bike gets pulled over, it's something that they'll talk about. But you can see it. This motorcycle, very maneuverable, high speeds, on the freeway. Any CHP vehicle except another motorcycle would have a hard time keeping up with this bike. Even the motorcyclist. I'm sure a lot of the California Highway Patrol, I know a lot of the California Highway Patrol guys, they are trained at high-speed driving, high-speed maneuvering with their motorcycles. And those big bikes, they are very agile. But to keep up with this high-speed motorcycle that clearly has a race look to it, that's all I'm going to say right now, it would be very difficult. Looks like we're going to be getting off the freeway, Sandra. We'll see what happens. Once we get off here, it says we're at the west side. So we're down in the harbor.
Well, this could be very dangerous, getting off the freeway and at such a high rate of speed right there, and then now you're thinking about residential streets or surface streets. Wow, but I can't get over how comfortable this driver is just going that fast, like a rocket past all of these cars. And again, getting off the freeway there on the west side, and now unsuspecting drivers going the speed limit on these surface streets and not knowing or prepared for something like this to just whiz by them.
Definitely. And, this is the thing. I don't think anybody ever is going to intentionally try to harm, a rider, this rider, any rider. But, it's just like you said. Nobody's expecting somebody to come by at 80 miles an hour. And one of those riders might just be, getting ready to make a lane change. And here's that bike in an unfortunate position, wrong place, wrong time. And there's just a collision, a touch, anything at 90 miles an hour on the freeway on a motorcycle, that could be devastating. So those are the reasons why any kind of these chases are, for me to watch, difficult, at least a little bit difficult. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of law enforcement, they're just saying, you know what, is it worth it? They have to weigh it out. And you can see it. There is nobody really behind this vehicle. There's nobody there. I can do a little bit wider. I really don't want to lose it. That bike very, very fast moving. But on the 405 freeway, we're in Long Beach now, and nobody's behind it as far as law enforcement. Actually passed a couple of them, and they didn't engage. So clearly clearly they know this is going on. Clearly they have an idea where this bike is, but they're not going to engage because of those high speeds. They are concerned about the driver's well-being and any of the people around them. But that bike continues to make these high-speed maneuvers. There you go. We're going from the far right to the far left to the far right. Not a political term. And you can see it right there. Continuing to move along, high speeds, cutting these corners, cutting the, just weaving between all these cars, threading the needle as it would be. Always very scary.
I wonder how long this type of motorcycle can sustain these types of speeds. Thankfully, we're not seeing 100 miles per hour at this point. We saw him back down a little bit to 75, 80s, but again, picking up speed to the 90s range, I believe. I can't really see very well. But yes, still on the freeway, didn't get off the freeway onto the surface roads at this point, but 87 right now on the highway. Thankfully, there's some bit of relief because it is Friday, perhaps, that a lot of people have a long weekend because of the high holy days, and there's not a lot of traffic, it seems.
Right now, not a lot of traffic. There's no doubt about that. Right now, not a lot of traffic, and good for the rider. I kind of wonder, because like I said, it started out in Altadena. Oh, wow. And why was this person in Altadena? Now, clearly could have been, out there running errands, doing something, picking up the motorcycle for all we know. But now we're up in, coming out of Long Beach, and you got to wonder, is this a destination? Or because it started up there, you'd think that that bike comes from that area. So we are far from the Altadena area. And as far as how long this bike can go, it all depends on how much fuel it has in there. And also, I've been told in the past that these motorcycles, even at those high speeds, high revs, good, higher fuel consumption, they can go for a good 300 miles on a tank, maybe even more. Mm-hmm. So this could be going on for quite some time. The CHP helicopter that relieved the sheriff's ship, I'm venturing to say probably has a full bag of gas. They'll have more than 2 hours in the air to follow this. But that rider, the clock is ticking. You've got great skills. You're doing, I'm not saying that, but you're really taking a lot of chances. And every time he passes one of those cars at a high speed, I'm just thinking, every time you're getting lucky, one of these times you might not, and I just don't want to see that.
That's right, and let's show everybody what happened just moments ago as we've been following this pursuit along the freeway right here. You see that motorist, the motorcycle rider, handing off something to the rider in yellow. Again, we don't know what that was, but you see it right there, handing off something to that other motorcyclist in yellow, on the yellow bike right there. So clearly this was unusual, odd situation, and we, again, don't know what that could be, but this driver, very comfortable in this position, being able to do that, going at a high rate of speed, and then continuing on, going nearly 90, 100 miles per hour on the highway.
Well, this rider definitely comfortable on that motorcycle. There's no doubt about it. Even right now, riding with one arm. And if you heard me chuck just a moment ago, we're actually coming up on Los Alamitos. My pilot mentioning that there's even more cool jets down there on the ramp. The air show is this weekend. But continuing with what we're doing right here, this rider, they get fatigued. You watch this and you think about somebody driving in a car, maybe not as challenging physically because you're just driving a car, but race car driver might be a little bit different. But when you're on a motorcycle like this, you are using your muscles, and maybe this rider is starting to get a little bit of fatigue, and that's the reason why some of these speeds are slowing down just a little bit. I could almost venture to say that's the reason why one-handed right now, just giving that other hand a rest. But again, just the way they're driving, the movement of the head, that's the only thing we can really gauge by up here, because we can't really talk to this person. We don't really know what they're doing, but we can watch those body movements, and doesn't seem very stressed out, doesn't seem to be very concerned about what's going on around him. And when he does or she does look behind, it is very casual. And yeah, as people might be saying at home, they might be saying, we're causing this, we're doing this, or we're bringing, this person probably has no clue we're following them. The California Highway Patrol, much lower than us.
Wow. So how many law enforcement vehicles or just the chopper, are they following this person?
Right now, it would be one California Highway Patrol helicopter and also us. There's nobody on the ground. I was listening in a little bit earlier, them talking about re-engaging, but that's the thing too, Sandra. I mean, how do you re-engage this? How do you pull that off? How do you get a squad car to go 80 miles an hour through traffic? Right now, things a little bit different. But even if they had a patrol car behind it, what is that? What are they going to do? They can't do the pit maneuver. They wouldn't do it to a car. They're definitely not going to do it with a motorcycle. They can do command presence. There is something like that where they just kind of like, hey, here we are. We're right here. You need to pull over. That might happen. But for the most part, this motorcycle, with a flick of a wrist, could create a lot of distance between any of the cars on the ground. So if they are getting their ducks in a row, basically they're like, hey, this is where we are, this is where we're going to be. Units that are in the area, they might be ready if this motorcycle gets off the road or something like that.
That's right, and we will continue to follow this pursuit. If you'd like to stay tuned, we are going to switch things over to Fox Digital. Make sure you follow this on foxla.com. For now, thank you so much, Stu and SkyFOX up in the air. We will now return to Sherry in progress.
Sherry, as far as the pursuit goes right now, I was going to put some news on television. Oddly enough, there's an air show. Oddly enough, there's a TFR. Oddly enough, we are going to have a hard time keeping up with it. We can't go over it, and we can go around it, right? Right? So, and now I'm hearing that the California Highway Patrol helicopter is given up as well. So I'm thinking, with the blessing of our assignment desk and my bosses, as they would be, we're probably going to stay with it as long as we can. There's always that possibility this rider will pull off the road, put up the kickstand, grab a cup of coffee, maybe stop at a Starbucks. Who knows? But stay with it as long as we can, and then we're not, and that's it. The wind blowing in his hair. That's right, Bromar. That is right. So anyways, we're keeping an eye on this, and it is one of those chases where this is where we're going to give up, passing by one of those cyber trucks, and we are going to be going a different direction than the freeway. And well, like I said, I'll make an effort as long as we can, but I think more and more we are going to start losing the picture, and this motorcyclist is going to, this is another day he or she might get away. There is no SkyFOX magic. We can't push a button and go stealth and go into the TFR. And also it is the air show one, right, Dylan? Oh, he's talking to somebody. Well, I'd like to follow it, Dylan. Yeah, I want to stay with it. He's getting off the freeway. He's over by John Wayne, I think. Yeah. If he goes south, he's going into the TFR? All right, we'll figure it out here in just a moment. Sorry, anybody and everybody, if you guys have got us on the internet, this is, behind the scenes-esque as it would be. I want to give you guys information. I want to talk to you. I want to let you know what's happening, but I'm also kind of still working in here. And also, just so you know, I am not in here by myself. I'm not talking to voices in my head. Looks like he's getting back onto the freeway, Dylan. making that move kind of did speak to somebody. Who knows what that was all about? I can't even begin to guess that these are planned meetings. I would just say that those are just random. That bike really kind of kicking it back up again, getting up into the triple digits, and is not one of those things you want to see. And in the emergency lane right now, looking behind him there. I don't know if checking for traffic or checking for law enforcement. Doesn't really make any difference. Look ahead of you, buddy. Just look ahead. There, we're getting back into those crazy rides. Triple digits, moving through traffic, quick lane changes. This is, this is end of lens right here for as far as we in SkyFOX go. So we can get a little closer with digital. That's it. But it gives you an idea at the distance that this bike is creating between us and the helicopter. We are climbing as well as making our way forward. So there is a little bit of that. Looks like we are getting back off the freeway again. Dylan, if you got me. He's busy talking to somebody else, so I'm going to keep an eye on him. Getting back off the freeway, looks like Warner. That's what it says on my machine. And definitely taking Warner off the freeway. He's going behind us, Dylan, if you got me. No, you don't have me. Perfect. So definitely going behind us. There's Dutch Brothers. It would have been good coffee. And let's see where he pops out here. Please make a turn. Thank goodness. So we're not getting too far from it. Dylan, you still got me? Dylan? All right, looks like we're in a residential neighborhood. Maybe this is coming to an end. Looks like he's parking it. Dylan? He's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. He just stopped behind this industrial area. He's behind a tree, of course. Of course he is. Coming around to 12, and if we can go forward from here, that would be helpful. Maybe he was just late to work, you know? And just wondering if anybody possibly saw this guy pop out someplace else. The last spot I saw him was get behind the tree, and then the bike kind of just disappeared for me. I don't know if he made a little bit of a U-turn or what he did, but that was the last place I saw him, and you can't blame anybody but me. This was one of those ones where, Dylan is keeping us alive and safe, and that it is what it is. But again, just more trees. I can't see anything. Can we move a little more forward, or are you working with somebody? I don't know if he's there. If we can see if he's there, that'll make a decision if we're going to stay or go. Tommy's. He went to Tommy's. Good choice. Okay. All right. I hear you. Oh, he went through the drive-through. And I lost him. I wonder if anybody else has him. Does anybody else have him? What about that other station that we don't talk about? Yeah, I bet you he went through the drive-through and he went back out. He gone. He gone. No, not really, but if you want to, we can. Unless he pulled into the, I didn't know there was a drive-through. I didn't even know there was a Tommy's. I don't come down here. I don't have my passport. I can't go to Orange County. My credit score isn't high enough. All right, we're done. Yeah. That Stu guy sucks. Drive through at Tommy's and disappeared. All right, we're clear. Hey, anybody that's out. Have that kind of money. If you guys want to follow me on the internet, on IG or anything like that, please do. And any comments, anything you guys want to say, I'm down. I'm down. Even if it's like, hey, man, you suck. You lost that motorcycle. You know what? I was here, too. I saw it. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm going to go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Remember, Fox is the place to be. You're foxy. Stay foxy. And watch Fox. See you guys.